Hey everyone, this is Nito King bringing you a couple more levels of Rayman. We'll be finishing up Bandland today, starting with Gong Heights, which is actually one of the easier levels in Bandland, I think. Couple of tricky spots, but for the most part it's just all these guys with their bongos. We got disappearing ledges to the left and to the right. But we don't need to go to the left, do we? We've already been there, so why would they put the ledges there? Aha! Yeah, most of the cages in this level are not hard to find. Just don't try to climb back up with a shortcut. It doesn't work. And most of this level really looks like it was designed to be done without the hair helicopter. Like maybe this was supposed to be the first level. It's all just nice, easy jumps that are made that much easier because I can hover. This one's kind of tricky because you have to jump while the bongo is moving in order to have enough clearance to make the jump. I suppose that might be a tricky spot, but again, I've got the helicopter. So if I keep screwing up a jump over and over again, I can usually get to safety. And eventually I finally get to move on. I mean, I'm not completely inept. I've been playing video games since I was, like, 2. At that point I was programming half of them myself. Alright, they were really lousy games, but... nothing really special going on, I don't think. Just more of these monks that, as First Aid Kite pointed out, don't really seem to fit into Bandland, except for they're holding bongos with eyes on them. And I kind of like the effect it creates when they hold the eyes in front of their own face. And I'm not really sure what to make of that expression. It's just goofy. And even these rotating platforms aren't that bad in this level. It's nice and relaxing after the hectic time we had in the previous level. You just gotta remember to duck every time it goes around, because those ledges will knock you off the platforms. This guy. I honestly don't know whether that's hard or not. I mean, I did it okay, and I was completely unaware of what I was doing. Could be that you just can't die there for whatever reason. This part, on the other hand, is the worst. So we have auto-scrolling. We've got bottomless pits with spikes. We've got lightning shooting eyes everywhere. We've got anti-tunes everywhere else. Narrow ledges. Twitch reflex jumping. Did I mention the auto-scrolling? Because that's a real problem here. The good news is, with all 6 cages, I don't have to do any of this again. All I gotta do is survive it the first time. Yeah, the first half of the level is basically just an issue of not taking 3 hits before you get to the full health. The second half is a matter of not taking any hits because you will die. And you might think I'm staying a bit too far to the front, which perhaps I am, but reacting to things in the front isn't nearly as much of a problem as the lightning shooting into a place where you need to go. I'm pretty sure there's a way to time this jump so that you don't get hit, I think I managed it the first time I ever tried it, and never again after that. Don't know if I mentioned, but this is only my second try at this level. The first try was after a failed attempt at Allegro Presto, where I still beat the level. And this part is nice and easy. Just jump. You know, jump and jump and jump until you're finished. And they give you a whole bunch of power-ups at the end, including a gold fist, which is very handy. And after that, we move on to the boss level of Bandland, Mr. Sax's Hullaballo. I thought it was Hullabaloo. I really expected there was going to be a second O there. There isn't. I don't know what happened to it. And again, I went to this right after finishing Gong Heights. Now, everybody has said they want to see more of my first attempts at levels, because they want to see the massive amounts of failure that result. So this is it. This is my first attempt at Mr. Sax's Hullabaloo. Obviously not perfect. Obviously, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. You're watching the entire exploration phase, where I'm looking for secrets. I didn't get everything in the level, but it was good enough to keep, so I kept it. And the fact that I'll have to return simply because I didn't wait until my second recording when I would have found all of the cages, that's just a consequence of doing it the way I did it. See, there's a cage down there. I figure, obviously, there must be some way to get below the starting point. I don't see one. It looks pretty locked up to me. So I figure I'll just have to find a way down there later. It's got to be a longer level than it looks. And there's cage number 2 over there. But since I didn't get the first one, this is only cage number 1. I expect if I had the fully sped up fist, I might be able to just punch it from all the way on the right side. Otherwise, taking it nice and slow since I don't know what's coming up, and because I can't judge my fist speed at all. Good news is I didn't get stuck on spikes there and unable to make the jump back up. No, I'm not foreshadowing at all. Narrow, slippery ledges aren't as big a deal when they're lined up vertically like that, and you don't die if you fall off. Designers take note. You don't have to be complete dicks to your players in order to make a good game. And then I noticed there are spikes under those, whatever the hell they are, ledges. And this part. Did they really need this many eyes? Or could they possibly have put in a few more? I don't think any modern bullet hell shooter has anything much on that part of this game. The only good news is you get 5 hits. And here's our journey to below the start of the level. And I'm just reacting to stuff. I did remember that jump though, and there you can see the visible sparkles from the one visible secret point that I know of in this version of the game. And then somehow I end up back on top of the ledge and I gotta go all the way back around. Fortunately, it's not that difficult to trip, because I've already seen it all. And now, to build up momentum, and barely make the jump over that spike at the last second. And I see a gold fist, which I don't need. The gold fist power-up doesn't stack, but I'm gonna go back for it anyway, because where there's stuff, there may be secrets. If only I knew. And then I very skillfully drop right between the two ledges that are so high above the spikes I can't escape. Why they didn't just make them instant death spikes, I have no idea. They just wanted to torture me. Yeah, I'm becoming pretty familiar with this part. And again, barely make the jump over the spike. I don't know where I got the reflexes for doing that, but I'm grateful to have them. And again, you gotta jump to get started as I walk all the way back up for a gold fist that I actually need this time. And I very nearly make the same mistake again. If I learned from my mistakes, I would have a lot more first-time recordings. These ledges, I believe, are designed so that you can make your way down them if you're small, and the entire purpose of that elf being there is so you can get big again, because you're not going to make the rest of these jumps. Yeah, there is no secret for being small further into the level. And a bunch of nice slow-moving bongo ledges. Very easy to negotiate with your hair helicopter. And what looks like cloudy ledges. I say what looks like because it's actually snow on top of the normal slippery ledges, which makes them not slippery. I have no idea how that works. But it's nice to be able to stand still once in a while. Could get the power up, but for once I decide I don't need it. I occasionally make good judgments. As for the symbol, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if maybe you're supposed to jump off it before it closes on you. Nice, obvious line of grapple points. I have a little bit of trouble clipping onto a grappling point sometimes, because I don't know what it is. Like, if you're still holding the direction, or if you're still holding the fist button, that occasionally he just lets go of the grapple point immediately. So it'll take me quite a while to get up these ledges, or the hooks here. So I figured I'd speed it up a little bit, save you some of the time. This jump here is the hardest one, because you gotta get enough of a bounce off this vertically moving hook to get up to that hook above, and even at its closest point, you can barely make that jump, and almost every time you do, Rayman just lets go. So that's gonna take a long time at that speed, so I sped it up a bit more. It's going to take a long time at that speed, so I sped it up a little more. And finally I make the jump. And then I screw up again. If I didn't think it was really important, I wouldn't even bothered at this point. But I'm still missing a cage. Didn't see one earlier in the level. It's gotta be up here. This much effort has to be worth it. And finally... Oh, that was nearly a disaster. Alright, take it easy. Wait. Oh yeah, I can use my hair helicopter. If I miss a jump, I don't have to fall all the way back down. Apparently you have to use the momentum of this hook moving upwards and manage to make the jump at the height. I don't know, it just seems like way too much of a challenge, even for the last cage in the level. I can see the top. Just gotta make my way on a horizontal hook, which, as long as it's not an impossible vertical gap, but alright, no more screw-ups. I just kept this entire run because I was impressed with managing to make that on my first try, but yeah, I'm not going any higher. Or am I? Yes! Yes! I got the one-up! And a goofy-looking face, and no cages, and absolutely nothing else. I hate this game. Well, the cage has got to be later in the level, right? Nope! It's time to fight Mr. Sax. Although this isn't actually the fight. Before you fight most of the bosses, there's a chase sequence. You saw it with Mr. Mosquito, you'll see it with the next boss in the first level of the next area. Mr. Sax just chases you immediately before you fight him, and there are a lot of notes scattered around. If you manage to knock all of those notes into him, he'll be at half health by the time the fight actually starts. Now, I'm pretty sure that if you die during the fight against him, you'll start over at that point, and he'll have all 12 hit points. Which just means you'll have to do more of what you're about to see me do. But if you know his patterns, and somehow I managed to remember them from years and years ago, he's really easy. I think he's probably got the simplest pattern of all the bosses that I can remember. And here we go, the actual Mr. Sax fight. Come on. There we go. He throws these bombs, they explode into tiny notes, which hurt just as much as the big ones. And you just gotta wait for that big note so you can smack it into him. Now watch this one. He jumps 3 times. Left to right, he jumps 3 times. Right to left, not quite. That'll trick you. And I really wasn't prepared for that pattern. You've seen almost everything that he does now. Just make sure you wind up here and punch the note before you dodge the little ones. And 3 bombs at once is honestly no harder to dodge than 2. And this is it. This is all the attack pattern he's got. At this point, he doesn't even bother to spit out a bomb at the same time as the note. So, 2 more hits, it's gonna be the same thing, so... That was Mr. Sax's Hullabaloo, my first time at it, and I managed to get through it, only losing 1 life to some stupid thing that at least was amusing enough, and the whole hook climbing part, I think, was about 6 minutes and change of raw footage. And I thought, you know, as much as I would love to do a second take of that level and actually get all the cages, nothing was ever going to replace the hilarity of that climb. So, Mr. Sex dances for us. We have defeated him. We'll have to go back there later and get the last cage. It's embarrassing where I missed it. And next time I'll be moving on to the Blue Mountains. So, see you guys then.